Yo, 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 yo. You're listening to Black Athena on Athens International Radio, 104.4 FM.
Let's take things from the beginning because I want to go back to the cinema thing a little bit later. For those listeners that might not know who you are or where you're from or what you do, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been producing music under the name Falty DL for I've been making music for about 5 or 6 years under that name and releasing for the last 3 or 4 years. 3 years. Mm-hmm. Well, the good stuff at least.
Hold on, fuck it.
I grew up in a very music-friendly household.
Mm-hmm.
Like, music was always being played, radio was always on, which is interesting because I don't listen to the radio that much these days. I mean, I listen to online radio and stuff. I was always hearing music and my dad playing a lot of records, and I was encouraged to play music and take music lessons when I was a kid. Played the drums when I was like 6 years old.
Wow.
I actually played the flute for about 10 years, which I was really embarrassed about for a while, but now I sort of embrace that. Probably would go back to just classic rock was what I started listening to. Whatever my dad was playing, like Cream, Frank Zappa, Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. Hip hop was everywhere and hard to not pay attention to. And I loved it. All my friends were listening to hip hop, so I just would be exposed to it all the time. And I got into that around 14, 15 as well. What else? And then I guess I stumbled upon electronic music shortly thereafter. Friends of mine were playing that. Like Aphex Twin stuff like that. Like the weirder stuff, Square Pusher, Warp Record stuff, old Ninja Tune stuff, Planet Muse stuff. I was pretty blessed to be able to hear a lot of weird music like that at an early age in a country that didn't necessarily, have that as sort of its musical backbone, like England or something like that, or somewhere in Europe. The To London track, I literally just put up on my MySpace one day, and the track, I called it To London because I was going to London the next day to go visit my friend, actually to go to his wedding. Okay. So I put the track up there, and then I got an email on MySpace about a week later from Ramp saying, hey, just caught this track, what's your plans with it? And I didn't know anything about Ramp, and then I started realizing that they had put out a lot of really cool hip-hop, and they just had put out that Zombie record. And then I think shortly thereafter I started sending, or maybe at the same time, I started sending a lot of music to Mike Paradinas.
It's well documented your relationship with Mike, and
It's because I talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
I love just teasing him in interviews and on the radio because I feel like he's given me such a hard time about my music over the years.
Is it revenge now?
Sort of is. It's like privately he tells me how bad my music is. So publicly I tell him how awful he is as a human being. No, I love Mike. I couldn't have more love for him. It's not true at all. I've come to a point where this is now my career and it's how I make a living, and I think about Falty DL as a business in a sense. You know, I mean, like in a way, like I am my own business. It's like I have to sort of not hype myself, but I have to promote myself in a way, and I have to make a living and everything. So I want to do that, but I don't want to sacrifice the original reason why I got into making music. You know, and so I don't know. So when I see producers come up and they have like one 12-inch that comes out and it just bangs, and then all of a sudden they have this huge hyped up career and everything, I get a little nervous about the longevity of that. So for me, like when I'm making music, I'm thinking more about just sort of really making what it is that I want to hear first and foremost. It's a very selfish act. I've sampled a lot of Afrobeat and a lot of music, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of artists could relate to this. So what gets released is not always an accurate portrayal of everything that an artist makes, because, you know, a label has to want to release something, and they have to sort of look at enough tracks to make a concise release, to make it, you know, if you're doing an album, they have to sort of be related in some sense or have to make sense together. So I've made about at least a dozen tracks like Mean Streets. Okay. And Lofa was the first person to want to release those.
We do this show every Saturday and Sunday from 1 till 3 in the afternoon. Special guest in the studio, RBMA Q&A session with Falty DL. And yeah, we got some people in the house, and I know you can't hear them, but they had a really late night last night, and so did we. So I think they haven't got much energy in them. But yeah, let's make some noise, yeah. Come on, let's go. That's it. Right. So have we got any questions for Falty?
Yeah. Really.
Okay.
What's the whole process from zero to before mastering?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wake up in the morning. No, I'm just kidding.
So we've heard your beats. We've seen you make sushi. What's the deal with your tattoo? What was the inspiration behind that?
How is that connected to?
Yeah, that's really crazy, actually.
I was, you know, like one of those kids that didn't drink or smoke or do anything, so I got tattooed. We were bored. I had a job. I had some money. I wasn't spending it on alcohol, so I spent it on tattoos. Yeah, I got all my tattoos in a span of about 3 years. I went pretty hardcore. I probably have about 40% of my body tattooed. No, maybe 30%. There's a lot you can't see.
Are you happy releasing your music for other people, or do you see yourself opening your own label at some point?
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of doing that right now. And in fact, this first single that's coming out is going to be jointly released on Ninja Tune and my own label. It's called, and it's amazing that I haven't really talked about it yet, but it's I should probably do that. I'm not a very good businessman. But my label is called Blueberry Records. And in fact, I am accepting demos.
Свет луны золотой, как я счастлив с тобой, Елена. От улыбки твоей ночью стало светлее.
Okay, don't ask what that track was before that was playing. I've got no idea.
That was the lead track on my new album. What are you talking about?
I like the singer. I don't know what language.
I don't know either. I just sampled him.